Overwatch. This is playoffs, round number 1 in Division 1, and well, should be an interesting matchup to start things off here. As you can see on the screen right now, Winbur is electing to go at a 4v5 here, Spectrion.
Yeah, 4v5, not something you see every day in Overwatch, and for good reason. I mean, for a match as important as this first day of playoffs, then yeah, you really would like to have your full 5, and missing as well, I believe, is Mr. Gary, one of the biggest pieces of Winbur's success early on, so it's going to be very rough starting here on Ilios. I mean, here on Well especially, you only have a single DPS. It's going to be incredibly rough. And, I mean, playing against Gateway as well, then the odds are looking stacked against Winbur, so best of luck to them. We're going to have to see something fantastic, though, if we are going to see some success from the blue side, starting out on Hanzo. Double healer, plenty of sustain, maybe to try and offset the lack of an extra player, but will it be enough? Only time will tell.
Well, okay, so Mr. Gary is here. He's playing on Esports 5, so he can at sometimes be like 2 DPS at 1. And hey, if you're gonna start off just finding that picks on X, though, that might work out well, but you need to be able to keep on things going as Garrett finds Emerald as well. This would be the greatest win in TEC history if we saw a victory coming in from Winbur here. And they're starting off strong, finding this first cap.
I mean, finding a victory here would be probably the greatest robbery in the history of Overwatch Esports, and they start off absolutely amazingly. Anjas, a great spin to knock Exuvis into the pit, and to stop that happening again, moving over to the Diva now, so a little bit more mobility, a little bit more ability to take those high grounds. Probably a judicious pick, but Mr. Gary on the high ground, just spamming arrows and going to be taking space, an absolute impossibility.
We'll see if they can keep things going here. The sustain needs to be there, but the damage can come later on. You need to be able to stay in this fight, and well, so far they're doing it, but now losing Blue is going to be where everything probably crumbles in response down now, with Garrett going down, forcing back, and just going away, but already up to 43% on the board is Winbur.
I mean, if Winbur get locked into a frontline trade and all fighting in main with nobody really trying to make a play, then eventually the higher numbers of Gateway is going to get them the fight win. That's exactly what we saw there. And now Yama popping the artillery form, actually fishing desperately for a pick, but instead will miss. So just a little bit of time burnt off the clock, and now Gateway can sit there at crew percentage and wait for Winbur to push into them.
I mean, Silent Winbur got 3 ultimates on the board here. They can open things up with something like the Coalescence if they do so want, or just the pick in general. The tap is going to be triggered up there by Logan Blaze, who is on this Junkrat, like we are seeing right now, but they need a pick here, and they need it now. The Self-Destruct coming in now from Exuvius is not going to find anyone. Going to be able to come back looking for that pick, as Garrett's going to go down. Now, there is a chance Terrasurge's going to come through, but it's not going to be enough. They do find Never Faye, but there's only Anjust remaining on point at the moment, and well, they're going to have to back up.
I mean, it's great headway made in that fight, an opening pick and a second one too, but unfortunately the res is there, and when you're playing a numbers disadvantage, a pick is just an even playing field rather than an advantage. So yeah, Mr. Gary or Waz Esports has to just try and escape, and being able to get out means that it can be a quick re-engagement here for Winbur.
Riptide coming through, looking for someone. They find Blue, but they do get that trade. But again, they're still at disadvantage as Never Faye finds Anjust with a kunai to the dome. This should be the point going, or staying in the favor, and probably the first round going. And I think if we're going to see a victory here from Winbur, they can't really have a mistake and not give up the point.
No, it has to be picture perfect for them. Something over to the Reckoning means that touches to be able to come in. Overtime will be started, but will the respawns, the rest of the team be there in time?
We shall see. Blue has this, the Ant Matrix online. Garrett's already found that first pick. There's the Self-Destruct coming through, but it's going to find 3, and there's the other pick coming through. Team kill as Gateway take round number 1.
I mean, numbers advantage just too much to overcome, at least on their Gateway. Were able to leverage that to great effect, actually just not really getting pulled into Winbur's games, just sitting in the front line, spamming damage down, knowing that they do have superior numbers, essentially. And unfortunately, Winber were not able to leverage WAS Esports on that hit scan roll, trying to get anything really going past that first pick. So plenty of work to do if there's going to be any fight here from Winber, and they've decided that Junk Queen is going to be the hero of choice. I have to say, though, with a composition like this, all your resources are going into your Junk Queen, and Jas is going to have to pop off. Window loses speed, it could be harder than ever to get value from the Queen. Into the Reinhardt as well, not an amazing matchup, so plenty of pressure onto Anjas's shoulders. And for the rest of Gateway on the other side of the server, they're essentially already on the home stretch to take Ilios here. Well, going to be the battleground to decide whether we go 3 or not. And Exuvis with the Reinhardt is going to be absolutely terrifying, especially when that Earthshaft is online. That could spell curtains for Winber.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I do like this from the side of Winber. I mean, this is probably the highest sustained comp besides maybe playing Hog if you're Angus. And there's still obviously that chance for the pick potential coming through, but losing Garrett early on is not what you want to see there. Now, this is going to rush right into the rest of them, but Angus does find out Logan here. They do have this chance to come through. The point is going to be probably captured here early on by Gateway, and so it is. There's the skill orb coming through, but yeah, Blue's going to fall down. Exuvia's going to take space as much as they can here. If they can't really find anything, they need to be able to take out this tank, and that's where you go from here if you are Winber. But right now, there's nothing doing.
Yeah, I mean, just holding the space passively, all they need to do. They don't have to ever push for an advantage. I mean, they're already starting with one, so it's all the pressure's onto Winber to try and get an angle, get an early pick, and Junkrat going down early means that suddenly we're back into even Stevens, and Winber can now make something out of this.
But he's trapped! He's gonna get trapped up. The healing's going to be there, and the immortality field, the blue goes down. If you can find another pick, trade it back immediately. That would be huge and keep things going their way, and Anjus finds Yama out. So now this is where it looks like Winber are going to be able to get control of the point for the time being, unless Logan here on the Junkrat comes back with some nice picks. That's not going to be possible. There's a nice blade comes in response. Sound barrier now online. There's the Rampage coming through as well, going to lock down a lot of people. Can they find a pick off the back of it? No, the only pick coming through is Yama finding Anjus, and now the Tides have turned back into the favor of Gateway. Exuvius coming back from Swan, taking down Plu, as that should be the point taken by Gateway.
Yeah, fantastic work to get that, 15 or so percent, but unfortunately the beat from Emerald was just far too much sustainability. Both Attack Visor and the Rampage of Anjas got cancelled out by it. And what that means is that all their ults would put into a situation where they got very little. So now, 63 now climbing percent on the board for the defenders. Only really one fight left. And with the Shatter, the Kitsune rush, and coming up to both DPS ults as well, this is most definitely looking like Gateway's fight to lose.
Shatter coming back, gonna land onto Anjus and Plu goes down. Garrett though onto the Hanzo, finding 2 picks, so there is a chance, however slim right now. But Anjus finding Exuvius finding Anjus, and now Garrett as well to put it up to 90%. Last fight territory if there is even a chance for a contest coming in from Winber, but it's not looking too likely as no one gonna be able to get there, it would seem. Gateway take map number 1.
I mean, this is what we all expected as we loaded into the map, I think. Winber might have been the favorites maybe coming into this game, but in a 4-on-5 scenario, unfortunately, it's a little bit too much to ask, even of the best players in the world. So we saw great efforts. I think many lesser teams would really have struggles for any percentage at all on the board. But at the end of the day, then, the numbers advantage did prevail, and most definitely we have to say Gateway also did deserve their win, because to repulse the efforts of Winber required some fantastic play of their own. They were able to rotate their ults fantastically. They played to win conditions, and because of it, they are up 1-0 in our playoffs match.
Yeah, no, definitely. I will say Winber put on a better show than I would have thought, because I mean, it's a 4v5. You don't really expect any team to win a fight at all, and won a couple fights there were Winber. But now Gateway obviously in the driver's seat and continuing to look to go into the driver's seat as Escort will be our next choice whenever that comes through from the teams.
I mean, it's going to be very interesting seeing what they decide to go for Winber, because typically you'd expect something a little bit more long range as some of the escape maps do have a tendency to be. You can allow Mr. Gary to go over to that Hanzo, just spam logs down those long sight lines, fish for a headshot, but does their strategy change now they are, I think, still expecting to play with this numbers disadvantage in the rest of the game? Maybe they try and throw a bit more of a curveball towards Gateway, but I mean, if I had to guess, I have to put my money on something, then very likely I think we should expect to see a Circuit Royale coming out from Winber against Gateway.
Waiting for Winber's map choice because obviously they lose the map. So it is their way to go here. I mean, where they're I mean, you gotta think. I mean, maybe we go to like escort, like maybe a Circuit Royale.
Circuit.
I think that's probably the best choice, just because you can have those line sight Ryans and allow Garrett play Hanzo. I mean, you've got to let him play Hanzo here. I think that's the only way Winber has even a shot at this. His Hanzo is at times a one-man wrecking crew. You just need to be able to somehow enable that.
I agree with you there.
You need to somehow enable it, and you can't really do that with only 3 other players. You need a second DPS to put on that pressure to not be that entire focus.
I mean, the good thing about standard circuit mirrors is that your second DPS, normally a Widowmaker player, isn't really providing that much in terms of team value. More just like sightline control picks occasionally. You can hope the enemy Widowmaker just doesn't find picks and, you know, hope that Mr. Gary can make up that same value on his own. But, I mean, what teams do or don't play on the circuit does not matter because the pick has come through. Shambali Monastery will be where we go for our next battleground, and I understand it's a lot of the same idea as circuit. There's long sight lines, but a little bit easier to play some more maybe closer range comps. You can play a Ryan here if you want. You can play a Diva here if you want. You can play really much anything you'd like, as long as you understand it's going to be a little bit harder. So still very advantageous, I think, for Winber, at least in terms of theory, and if they had a full 5-on-5. But maybe a little bit more wiggle room here for Gateway.
So, my thought is, there is a strategy here, Spectrum. You can proc the what is it called? You can proc the contest through the room in this area.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You could, in theory, use May here and hold out in this room the entire time. That doesn't seem like it's going to be happening. And I do like this. You do probably need to run the Mercy here if you're Crazy, and that's what they're going to be running, because you need to have that. You need to have that revive. I mean, because if you lose a player in that fight, you're already just gonna lose it. You need to be able to find that first pick, and then if you lose someone, get that res back in.
I think damage boost 2 is going to really enable your DPS. When you are lacking that 1 DPS, then you do whatever you can to multiply the force that we can see out of Mr. Gary. And so, yeah, Blue Beam very likely going onto the hit scan. Exactly what you want to see in a scenario like this. I do have to say, between the Soldier 76 and the Hanzo, I do prefer the Hanzo. I think it has a little bit more immediate impact when you do find those headshots, but if they're feeling the Soldier, then the Soldier shall be the horse or the kill, so they elect to die, and I'm right now getting some great work on the flank angle, but so far, neither team finding any kills.
Oh, and Sprazy gonna go down early on is not what you wanted to see for this defensive hold. Logan plays going around the back with the Junkrat, taking Flu out as well. Now, the rest of Winber will be falling down around him.
That was a pretty quick hold off the back of Logan plays on the Junkrat. Fantastic picks, fantastic work, a lovely double kill to get the high ground, and of course, Sprazzy falling there early makes it so much harder for the remaining 3 members. It's kind of playable, a 4-on-5. You know, you have maybe a 30% chance of winning a fight in a void, but when you're down 3-on-5, then it is as good as lost, essentially. So it has to be extra careful to win, but not to concede any sort of advantage, because that could be the end of first point for them as the payload comes closer to the objective, and eventually Anjas going to have to drop the contest.
Yeah, Anjas is going to contest here, but Clue's going to go down. Logan's just in the back here. Another reason you're missing that second DPS, you could look for those opportunities, or looking for those flanking DPS from the opposite side, as Gateway are not stopping here.
I mean, exactly as you mentioned, you don't have a second DPS. No one's really watching those flanks because Mr. Gary has to contribute to that frontline trade. So Logan Paul is going to essentially just walk into the backline, has 3 turn backs towards him, and gets all the work in the world done. Now making changes are win, but over to the Hanzo, over to the Zenyatta. Just hoping that these long-range picks can find the value necessary. But Logan Blaze is still haranguing on the Junkrat.
Yeah, there's when the pick though from Logan. Now Garrett can perhaps get these plays, because I mean, the one thing that Garrett is so good at is finding these headshots, finding this damage through from the Hanzo, but it's going to be so hard to push through because Yama's just there on the Bastion, on cart, he's pumping in this consistent damage. You can't really push into with that lack of healing, but and the lack of another damage dealer. But Exuvius is going to fall down now with the Riptire coming out from Logan. This could bode an end to the hold that they was looking for. There's the Riptire finding Garrett and sprays the out of the fight. Coalescence from Emerald looking to clean house, but not going to find the picks. Still though, Angus and Flew on the point. There's the Mortality Field Kitsune Rush coming through to clean the rest of the members of Winber on point as Gateway finds point number 2.
That they do, and it means the time right now is getting absolutely insurmountable. If we're going to have to see any chance at all for win, but then we're going to need to see a stop, and we're going to need to see it soon. In their advantage at least, then they do have the ults to close out this fight. There's nothing realistically that their opponents can do if they do get a good Graviton Surge off, and they can follow up with either just some primary fires or a window or a Dragon Strike. Any combination of their ults, I think, will net them a fight win as long as it connects.
Yeah, now, let's see if they can get into this. There's the Dragon Strike onto the point, the Shatter out as well, though, trying to get onto him. They do lose Blue in the meanwhile, but it is traded. Emerald is gone, but now Angus is falling down. You've got that major source of healing no longer there, but Garrett's going to find another headshot coming out from Garrett, looking for Exuvius as well. He might be able to hold out here, especially if you can find another pick, as Exuvius looking to take Garrett out, but Boo back from Swan is finally the hold comes in from Winber.
We were waiting from heroics from Mr. Gary. We see it now. Humongous on the Hanzo, and allows for the respawns for his team to get here. Bastion all dropped, and only getting out the Immortality Field is about as good as Winber could have hoped for. Pushing back into the Hanzo now. Gateway have to keep their heads down because Mr. Gary looking to take them off yet again.
There's the Crudic Flux out as well. You're going to find Logan here early on. That's now going to make it even here for the moment. The Dragon Strike already back up for Garrett now. Looking to keep things going. You need to be able to keep Garrett alive. Garrett's going to back up for the moment still. Gateway looking for an opportunity, but Yama's going to fall down. Can't push in yet. There's just this damage coming out, and just finding these shots at the priority target. Now Emerald's out. Never Faye trying to stay alive. Gonna be able to get behind the Reinhardt shield, but Exuvius is gonna fall as well.
This madness.
Taken down, and what was a 5-minute time bank now dropping lower and lower. 3 minutes left. And if this pace continues, then we could well see a hold coming through. That being said, the ults are being banked on the side of Gateway. So both support ults now, the Riptide from Logan Place coming closer and closer. And shutting down this Junkrat early is going to make that ult often a win condition a lot harder to attain, but missing some shots, it means Logan Place got ever further onto the flank.
And I also like this change from Exuvius going over to the Diva, eating up the damage that's coming out from Garrett here. That's been a huge plays coming in for Winber. Now with the Transcendence coming online, and Never Faye's gonna fall out of the fight. This might have just opened up yet again a chance to hold things out, but Garrett's gonna fall down. Now the damage is gonna be maybe too much. Amp Matrix though coming in and just trying to hold with Flew on the point. He's gonna take the DMAC on Exuvius, looking for the DMAC as well now, but there's still healing and damage on the board. Flu's gonna take the 1v1 with Logan Place. Gonna use that Immortality Field to try to keep things going. There's the Runa Pucks coming out as well, and Emerald's gonna fall down. The Remax is gonna be there. Self-destruct coming out, but Logan finds 2 with a Reptire. Still, there is still Winber gonna be able to hold out because Ann just finds Exuvius and Never Faye.
I mean, this fight just kept on going, but at the end of the day, it's Winber who hold, and it's Gateway who've just wasted a minute, and Ultimates too, at a problem they've got nothing from. Like, trying to draw blood from a stone has been the attack here. And Winber still unmoved. Still, they had to spend a lot in that fight too, but it doesn't matter if Mr. Garrett is going to keep on farming.
Yeah, they're going to be able to find that pick onto Logan and Emerald now going down as well. The switch over to the Reaper from Yama to try to get right into the face of Winber. Hey, it's going to work out. You find Strazy out, but you're going to find a headshot to Yama as well. There's just no way with a 5-minute time bank. There's no way that Gateway can don't capture this point. But Logan goes down, another headshot from Mr. Gary, another one coming through. It's just a day of the shooting range for Garrett as they keep pushing that Gateway.
I mean, the bowmanship we've seen out of Mr. Gary has been absolutely absurd, and still looking for more, still single-handedly keeping the tides of Gateway back. Now one last chance for Gateway to convert here. What was a 5-minute time back, now just over 30 seconds, and there's still the hands on Mr. Gateway to get through.
Yeah, they've got the Kitsune Rush. This is the perfect opportunity, but you lose Emerald out. The Dragon Strike comes out. This is the perfect chance. They've got to be able to complete it here. And Andrus is going to fall down. But I still think there's a chance for a recontest here if they switch over to something quick here. But I don't think they will. They're going to probably allow the point to be captured unless Garrett can get there. They get there with a Tracer. Can they find a pick? I don't think it's gonna be possible. There's Andrus back on the wrecking ball, but they're gonna have to deal with the slowing effect. There goes Garrett. There goes Blue. They've got him to overtime. That is an incredible hold coming out. You might not complete it, but you can still pat yourself on the back with a self-destruct coming out as Andrus falls.
I mean, I see what they were attempting to do with getting a little bit, greedy with their ultimates. They were trying to hold on to them. Of course, when you change heroes, your ultimates get reset, and they'd hoped, did Winber, that if they just got one touch on, they could get everyone else back, charge up to some ultimates, maybe clutch it out, but instead just meant they were a little bit slow to the point, made it a little bit harder to come back as a full, 4. And yeah, Cap eventually did come through, but as you mentioned, Joke, I mean, that's an insane hold. Was 5.5 minutes down to OT. I mean, that's bonkers on any map, any scenario, and to do it with just 4 players. I mean, that's the stuff of legend. Still, as you mentioned as well, they were not able to complete it, and now a lofty goal at best for their attack. Some may call it night insurmountable, but if Mr. Gary keeps up this level of form we saw in the latter stages of that round, then feels like anything could be possible. Right now, though, in spawn at least, looking the Bastion, and while positioning, yes, it's going to be rewarded from that hero, it doesn't have the same ability to just one-shot, so it's going to be a little bit harder to carry, I think, from the Bastion pick. And what we're seeing on the defense is a Pharah, I think, that stands out the most. I think Yama trying to avoid the Hanzo arrows just by being in the sky as far away as possible, but I think that hasn't stopped Mr. Gary before. And with No Mercy, it may not stop him now. Other than that, very standard angles comp, I have to say. Logan plays on the Symmetra. You're going to have to toe a fine line as well, because an aggressive TP here can be very easy to punish. But what we're seeing out of Winber looks like it's real. They're running out on it, and it will be these 4 heroes that they are going to see if they can take their map pick, or if they will have to go down 0-2 here.
Yeah, their tournament lives and their chance to go to St. Francis University for the grand finals is coming to the end here. And this is not a good way to start off Garrett's senior season, I believe, or senior series, but they do find Yama early on, and this is going to be caught out, though, by that, the Symmetra turrets, and then, well, the rest of Winber fall down as well, as Gateway start off their hold.
They started off, and they started off pretty cleanly, losing 1 as well. That's Yama, going to make it a little bit more awkward, but yeah, Fire's respawn in time. There'll be a full 5 by the time all of Winber is back, and so no permanent losses. It really is going to be on to Plu and Mr. Gary to check Yama here, because if not, I mean, could reign free, but right now it's taken down first again.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty hard for Yama to keep getting, to get value as long as they're just focusing down without that Mercy pocket. But Oh, we'll see if they can get back into this, but already a lot of people are low on the side of Gateway as Garrett on this, the Bastion is just pumping in this consistent damage as Crazy's going to be at fall now, with that pick coming in from Exuvius, but again, if they can find this pick in response, they might be able to keep things going. If Emerald and Neverfay very low, you need to be able to find those supports, and now you can find things going in their way with those 2 picks coming in from Anjus, but now you've lost your tank player, so this is still an opportunity for Gateway to come through, but it looks like Winberg are going to be able to keep pushing forward.
Logan plays going down there means that, like, realistically, I think most of Gateway are going to have to wait for the respawn too, and Yamo dropping dangerously low and getting ever closer to Mr. Gary, who hits a fantastic nade. Fluke wants to get the final blow, and these staggers consistently always are going to favor Winber so massively here, especially with that numbers advantage they've been playing with all series long. Emerald falling 2 means that the cap of first points seems like all but a guarantee. An aggressive self-destruct takes care of Blue.
It does take care of Clue, but Exuvius goes down before they can get back into mech, so it looks like, yeah, Winber are going to be able to take that first point capture here, and now with a nice jagged blade, it gets the rest of Gateway out of position, and Garrett's there to just clean them up.
And because they committed after the payload had already come through, and these staggers are so much further away from Gateway, and as well, the ultimate bank of Winber has just been accruing, so now 4 check marks, as many as they can hold. You're going to have to leverage here to take second, and it's going to be an early artillery formation to make this walk even harder, coming down onto the Bastion of Yama, but will survive with about half his HP left, so the opening gambit failed from Winber, now onto the main body of the match.
Yeah, they still have 3 ultimates to use. Kitsune Rush is going to come through, but they're walking into an Amp Matrix Bastion. That's just going to be so much damage coming out as they do lose Plu, though. But it's just not enough. It's just turn the tide back into the favor of Gateway as Winber keep pushing forward. They're going to be able to get this second point, it would seem, unless there's a last-second recontest coming in from Gateway. But no, there's not.
And maybe not 5.5 minutes, but still a very respectable time right here. Pushing forward as Mr. Gary makes it low, takes care of 1, but now it's going to be Anjas picking up the mantle, picking up the pressure, forced to drop back, but still going 1 for 1 here. You have closer spawns, it's not bad at all, and that's more ult charge for Plu to get closer to the Amp Matrix again. Still, advantage as well for Winber, so in this next fight, while they may be at a disadvantage, they still have the tools to crack it open. That's been enough for them before.
Yeah, I just don't want the coalescence out really if you are them, as you're going to lose Garrett early on. The commanding shout did not put enough damage out. They're going to invest the Transcendence here. They still think this might be winnable, or to at least stabilize for the moment. And just has this, has the Rampage available to go in on. You need to be able to stay alive for that, to be able to use it. If they can take out Yama early on, that would be massive for this engagement. And there's that pick, but you need to be able to stay alive. There's the Rampage coming out. It is going to find 2, Neverfay and Logan Blaze go down the artillery strike, and now things are pushing forward for Winber. 3 minutes still to go, and they win that fight, and they're about halfway to completing the third point.
That's an interesting idea, actually, yeah. I mean, using the Rampage to force everyone to sprint back away from Anjas on the Junk Queen and haranguing the rotate with the artillery form is very clever and pays off some fantastic success. Now 1 fight away are Winber from going to extra innings, but whereas Esports going down is not the way they want to start this fight off.
Yeah, but they didn't really have anything to go off of. You kind of had to just try to take the dry fight. Maybe if you win, that's huge. But you've built up to more closer to more ultimates for this next fight, and that's really what they're looking for here, Spectreon.
But I mean, the same could be said of their opponents. So Gateway are beginning to bank some of their own. This Kitsune Rush of Neverfay going to be incredibly hard to overcome so far. Some maybe bold placement of it has meant that by and large it has been kited by Winber, but here on this open stretch there's going to be no way of getting away from it. So a good value Kitsune Rush could spell the end, at least in this next coming fight. Still plenty of time to burn. 2 minutes left on the bank, and aggressive self-destruct.
Yeah, it's going to
pair of 1, that hurts.
Yeah, it's gonna find Garrett, and I think it's just back away for the moment. I mean, if they can find a pick here onto someone trying to get these stragglers, Kitsune Rush gonna be invested by Neverfey, but that could just be waited out and be pretty much wasted from Gateway.
I've got you.
That it does, but I mean, use this early on is essentially a gift to their opponents, so Neverfey a bit of a goof. Hopefully they aren't punished for it too much, but re-engaging quick is all of Winber.
Yeah, as the Judy is going down super low right now, and the Amp Matrix is still open to use. They do find Sprazy out of the fight. They do have, however, now losing Angus as well. That was the opening they were looking for, but Gateway just shuts it completely in their face. So now it's down to a minute here. This is looking dire now for Winber.
Winber are coming up to their ultimates, though. That's what all these fights have been leading up to. 3 ults on the board. Sprazzy's Transcendence, a mere 25% away. This could be it. This could be a ticket for Winber to finish as well in OT. I have to say, the kill gate that Logan plays has set up with these symmetric turrets, the VAR has not been shot. It's been so much passive damage, one that I'm not quite sure Winber's realized yet.
There's the artillery strike coming through, and Emerald's gonna go down. Now there's so many people low on the side of Gateway. They might be able to do this here. Yama's gonna fall down to their grenade. And now, this is where the opening comes through. They've got ultimates to keep things rolling their way. And these picks just keep coming through from Garrett. Yama's going to be using their artillery strike from spawn. The revive as well onto Logan plays, and I just falls down. The Transcendence not there in time. I think that might just be it. Yeah, with Garrett falling down, the hope was there, but it's just not enough. As Gateway takes the map and the series in a 2-0 fashion.
I think common sense finally prevails. Gateway take their win over Win, but they will advance. And, I mean, they were made to sweat whilst it happened. Winber put up a fantastic fight, all circumstances are considered. I mean, I cannot heap enough praise onto the 4 players who showed up so huge for their school, but unfortunately, in the end, all the effort in the world doesn't matter if you don't get that win, so they have been eliminated, I believe, from the playoffs bracket.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is what's going to happen. They are going to fall down and, well, fall out of the tournament here. And an unfortunate way to had to happen, but Gateway lived to fight another day going into the next round, but it is not going to get any easier, as they have, that I believe is waiting, would be, I think the #1 seed would be waiting for them, which would be Central Cambria.
Yeah, that's not what you'd love to see out. It's going to be a very tough game for them, and while some might argue that this game might have been a gimme for them, it means that the real test most definitely is going to be next. So Gateway, some time now to go back to the drawing board, look at what's going wrong, figure out how to fix it, and come back stronger for the next game. And I mean, their opponents waiting in the wings have just seen a very interesting morsel as to their next match. But speaking of next matches, I believe we're going to a short break, and after that, we have the second Division 1 game for you coming up today.
Yeah, so we'll be right back. hullabaloo behind the scenes. We're here, ready to go into a Division 2 matchup here between Shade Central and Westmont Hilltop. Well, at the moment, we're on Ilios yet again, and this is the map choice from Westmont.
That it is, and what we're seeing from Westmont right now is a lot of what we've seen from them before. Pixie on the Bastion, Xmoose on the Soldier 76, and the rest of the team kind of flexing around that, allowing the DPS to flex their figurative muscles. On the other side of the server, very interesting actually, that Usurper Shogi, by the looks of things, not starting on the Moira. Very often DPSing, in fact, with that particular hero, but instead right now on the Mercy, very likely just going to be giving Smiles that blue beam, that damage boost to enable him in the Soldier on Soldier. Both teams are playing slower compositions in the end of things. Both teams just wanting to poke down main, so it's on to all of these players to not step out of line, because one mistake here could be fatal.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Jack still can play a little bit more frontline than, say, Jeffrey, who is on Sigma. You can get into the face of your opposition if you really want to. But we'll see how it works for him, as Smiles is going to wrap around looking for some shots here, but going to be going down super low. Pixie, though, going to be taken down, halved out, rotating back to the rest of their team for the moment. Still, both teams vying for position, looking for this first pick in the fight to really get things underway. As there it is, the first pick coming in as Pixie takes down Smiles. The Lens is going to be there, though, so there's still a chance for Shade to come through with the first point captain. And you get that first point now. As it's looking, however, though, the side of Westmont coming out on top of the picks, all going blue right now.
Yeah, the increased damage rate that Bastion can provide, as well as the shield crack over Orisa, means that in terms of sustain, then it looks like at least here Westmont were able to live just a little bit longer. And Tynashville moving over to the Pharah here, very interesting. We'll have the Mercy pocket, but into the triple hit scan the Westmont are packing, this Pharah really might struggle to find value here.
Oh yeah, it's an interesting choice to go over to Pharah. Obviously, like you said, hit scan is on the side of Westmont. I mean, if you can find the damage, I mean, it'll work, but you need to be able to stay out of sightlines, and this isn't really the best map to avoid sightlines, with this being the old school, like, Widowmaker pick you would see here. And that's already enough by Pixie finding Tynash out of the fight, and then it's just going to be a rotation back for Shade at the moment. As there's a rotation around, looking to find out Pixie on this Bastion to swap over to the Reaper now.
Yeah, I mean, Bastion on this point is a playable matchup, but it's a really hard one, and so yeah, just forced off of it, moving over to the Reaper. This is, on the whole, probably a decent choice, but right now this aggressive hold we're seeing out of Westmont is really restricting any space that their opponents are attempting to take. So Shade really struggling right now, but with the Gravitic Flux, the Nano Boost as well, this is going to be their best fight to the point.
Yeah, as Smiles is going to find, goes down already. They do get that trade, though. Pixie's out of the fight thanks to that anti-nade coming in from Life Sucks there, but still, no one's found a pick, found the advantage quite just yet. As the pick's going in, as Moose SPS has found Smiles. Finally, Thick's finally going in the way of Shade, though, as the point gonna flip over. Ant Matrix was invested by Tony Zamboni, so but there's nothing to really go off of it, as Shade have control.
Yeah, they really will want their support ults back, but I have to say, Tony Zamboni staying alive here on their high ground is absolutely huge. It means that the now new defenders can take no space, and Xmoose could just push it with the rockets and instantly establish 5-4.
Yeah, it's Tynash is going. Terra Surge gonna come in and find 3! Jack is taking down the remaining bit of stragglers, as Pixie taking the Jeffrey out, and there it goes quickly back into the favor of Westmont, and it should be enough to solidify the point. I don't see a pick coming in.
Yeah, a flip comes through, 100 to 41. The double hit scan that we're seeing right now has been the bread and butter of Westmont. It pays off big time here. Not sure if the lack of Moira we're seeing from Shade is a stylistic choice or just comes from the map, but either way right now, what they're trying has not been working massively well, but moving here on to Lighthouse, I mean, more of the same is going to be stronger. These long sightlines, control of the high grounds, those are going to be the operative words that these teams are going to play around. And we're seeing some very interesting adaptations, actually. Super Shogi is now onto the Moira, so maybe a little bit of dive pressure, maybe going to play passively, just to keep everybody up. I think Tony Zamboni moving over to the Ana is the big standout here. I mean, normally Baptiste is going to be played a lot more because you do have those extra boosts to reach the high grounds, increase healing, a little bit more damage as well. But if they think they can get value out of the sleep, the anti-nade, the nano boost, then an entirely rational decision. I'm going to be very curious to see how it ends up playing. But right now, while they've made individual swaps, the compositions that these teams are playing very similar to what we saw before, but the result, however, could be very, very different.
Yeah, my thing is, you're playing a lot of heroes that could use the Amp Matrix to a beneficial, to benefit you, and you're getting off of it now. I mean, again, you're going to be a little bit more close range with this point, how it is, but still, you can have those sightlines to use that Amp Matrix, and the Immortality field is just kind of invulnerable. You need that in the fights, I feel like. But I mean, right now, the side of Westmont is doing well without it. They've already found new Super Shogi. Now, Pixie is going to go down, though, but they are going to get traded out. Life Sucks is going to fall, as so as the Jeffrey now, as there they go. It's going to be, ooh, nice Javelin coming in from Jackish as well. Smiles false.
Yeah, wipes out, 20% accrued, and already the Ana pick is paying dividends. 15% to a Nano boost means that very likely Pixie is going to be a very scary threat in one of the upcoming fights. A new Super Shoki already not finding value from the Moria, decides that Mercy is instead a judicious pick. Tanashko on the Junkrat has to be spoken of. Really will struggle to get into a defective range, but once the Junkrat is, within touching distance of its opponent, and that damage can add up very, very quickly. So watch out for that, because it could be very feast or famine here for Shade City Central.
Yeah, we'll see if they can get the value of that. Oh, they've already lost Smiles in the fight. Now, they do have an opportunity to get the res, but Usurper Shogi goes down when they were looking for that opportunity. Jack is continuing to dominate right now for Westmont, as Shade can't really find an opening.
No, again, they've been wiped out. This defense has been too strong, and they're getting stag kills too. Does mean that very likely this timer will just go on further and further. Put massive amounts of pressure onto Smiles, and Tanash could stay alive. The sleep makes it harder, but by the looks of things, it's Hockey Master first of all.
Hockey Master falls down, but again, it's not really a problem when you can just stay on this point. You don't have the Lucio, but you still have your healing, and Westmont still are going to be able to get this up to 90% here. It might just be over, especially losing Life Sucks there. This could just be it, all done and dusted. Yeah, that's going to be it with that sleep dart under the Jeffrey. There's the tactical visor, all the ultimates coming on as Westmont take the map.
Yeah, I think they had some fantastic sidelines for the composition they wanted to play, and they executed fantastically. X moves wherever they wished. Pixie as well on the Bastion was great at designing those sidelines, getting a fantastic amount of damage, especially into the front line, as we do see here in the play of the game. And I think we really get to see a great answer from Shade City Central. Unfortunately, not able to escape the clutches of the enemy DPS, and really did get punished for that all throughout Ilios.
Yeah, now with it being Shade's map choice, we'll see where they decide to take us. With it being Escort the next choice. I would probably think something more away from those long sight lines. Probably not going to be seeing Circuit. But other than that, I wouldn't really know where you don't go if you are Shade.
I guess it depends on how confident you are in your ability to rotate around the map. I think that some of the more traditional dive maps are very, very strong against this composition if you can play the composition well. But I think that the Bastion is so good at punishing any sort of improper execution that you might really struggle. So if you play something like Dorado, then you might have a great time, but equally Pixie could just dismantle you. So it depends on how confident Shade is feeling. Personally, though, I'm kind of leaning towards, I mean, like I said, one of those more dive-based maps. Again, maybe not Dorado, but I mean, if you can get anything a little bit less punishing, then I think you might have a good shot. But remember, again, you're avoiding those long sidelines, so maybe not Route 66, maybe not, as you mentioned, Circuit Royale, not even Shambali, because all of those, I mean, X-Moose and Pixie are just going to take you apart.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Shamali or Circuit, probably not the choice. Watchpoint Gibraltar could definitely be on the table here. But like you said, or Dorado, like you said, Junkertown, probably not gonna happen. Havana, couldn't happen. Rialto, I feel like Rialto's probably the more in between. So I mean, I still could see good value coming in from Pixie and Kings Row's not an option. They want to go to Kings Row.
Yeah. Everyone
That's
wants
a
to pick
hybrid
Kings Row
map.
so much that they try and pick it even when it's not in the pool. I don't know. There's something about that map that players just love.
So we're still trying to pick it. It looks like we had a disconnect from lobby from Shade as well. But interestingly enough, Shade has chosen to go to Circuit Royale.
I think there maybe are some legs here. I think that running of Soldier 76 especially does mean that more often than not you want to take multiple different angles, you know, kind of crossfire the enemy team. And Circuit Royale is a map that makes that impossible. It's just impossible. The map design is constructed in such a way that essentially every team fight will be teams just spamming down main. And so if Shade think they can win the shield trade, win the tank HP trade, then they will have a real advantage here because, I mean, Soldier 76 just doesn't do all that much damage in terms of your actual raw DPS, of course. So, you know, they go something that maybe high damage, maybe high pick potential. They could do maybe Hanzo Widowmaker, they could do Bash and Reaper, any sort of combination like that, and they might have a real advantage over Westwood, but we're going to have to wait and see what they elect to play as we begin to load into the map. By the looks of things, Westwood starting out on the defense, so they're going to be one setting the buck in their opponent's Shade City, going to be trying to pass it, but just 15 seconds till the doors unlock, and these two teams really could pick anything.
I want to hear your take. I've heard this take recently, that hybrid is the new 2CP. What are your thoughts on that statement?
In that the respawns on the second point make it impossible to cap?
No, that it's just an unenjoyable map type now.
Personally, I'm mostly biased against Escort because the sight lanes are too long. I think it's really hard to scale across like the map in general on most Escort maps. For example, Circuit Royale, I think probably the worst offender here. If I wanted to play a Tracer or a Genji perhaps into double sniper, then I dash just there and then I get shot in the head and then I die. Yeah. And that's not interactive and that's not fun. And any map that like forces a comp that's like so strong, even though the rest of the meta here or across Overwatch is going to be very different, I think it's probably bad map design. And I think that hybrid or not Escort in general is pretty prevalent for doing this. So I think Escort's probably the worst. I think most of the hybrid maps are pretty okay.
Interesting, because I've heard from a lot of top players that they don't like hybrid anymore. That Kings Row's the only map they actually like for the hybrid game mode. But let's stop talking about that, Spectre. We've got Overwatch the cast now again. As Moose is going to be maybe caught. Oh yeah, Smiles is going to be able to take them down here. A nice opening here now for Shade Central. Jackish is going to be forced out, force that javelin spin, forced to regroup with their team. Some nice plays coming in already from Shade Central, trying to get around this corner early on, but gonna still have to deal with a lot of damage coming in with this healing pylon available to keep that healing going. And Smiles is very low, still waiting for that opening to keep pushing forward. Is Shade at the moment. Smiles looking for this pick, anything, but no, it's just damage coming through. You can't really push in quite just yet because you haven't found the opening, and now Ty Nash is going to fall down, and the rest of your team is so low, you can't really do anything more, as it's just the healers left for Shade as they try to get away, but to no avail.
Maybe not enough killer instincts there, I think, from Shade. Such a lovely pick early on. X-Moose going down for absolutely no resources. From there, the 5-on-4. should be an absolutely easy fight to convert, but unfortunately they're just, I think, a little bit scared of the damage that Pixie, the Tony Zamboni, and Coca pump out. They're a little bit too slow on their push, and they did get punched for it. The respawns did come back, and they did win the second fight, did Westmont, so now this defense can get started in earnest, only giving up a little bit of space, and the silence is now actually better for the DPS.
Yeah, we'll see here now. They're walking in here. Tynash has this overclock available, and could it be the opening that Shade was so desperately looking for? But now you've lost Smiles, and you're just not finding the shots that you need to. And there goes the picks coming in for Westmont as you invest 3 ultimates, though, in that fight.
Yeah, I mean, it's expensive, but at the end of the day, a hold is a hold, and I think the Bastion ult, the Terror Surge as well, normally considered a little bit weaker than what their opponents have to bring to bear, so they did spend, I think, their weaker ultimates all by and large, so they're not feeling the loss of those too much. They still have the Attack Visor and the Captive Sun to invest here, and not really much counterplay for that, so it could be explosive, but for the early constrained rush to allow most of Shade to push in.
Now for the Captive Sun coming in quickly to counter out that aggression. As no picks have to come in off the back of either of these two, as Jackish has to rotate back. Currently, she's gonna get that healing, and there goes Tynash down and out of this fight. Jeffrey as well, gonna be super low, gonna have to use that kinetic grasp, gonna be able to stay alive. That visor coming in from Smiles, gonna find Hockey Master though, but it's not gonna outdo Moose's attack visor of their own, finding 3, now 4 picks coming in as Tony Zamboni taking the ace away, as Westmont are 40 seconds away from the first point hold.
I mean, right now, Westmont are looking absolutely ironclad on this defense, and really no chance we've seen so far for Shade to attempt to break it. With Surfer Shogi back to their favored Moira pick, but so far we haven't seen too much success from it in this series, so it's going to have to be different here somehow. But it's a huge task to even touch the point for Shade. They have so much distance to cover, and they're taking so much damage while they do it that there's a likelihood that someone might slip and die.
Yeah, definitely. As they're looking for that pick, looking for someone, looking for that opportunity to push forward, but Usurper Shogi falls down. That's going to probably be about it there. Tony Zamboni taking down Smiles, wrapping things up with the last 2 members falling down as the full hold comes in from Westmont.
Yeah, pretty quick, pretty clean, pretty surgical, in fact. Only losing a single fight there. Feels like only a single player, in fact, went down, but as it stands, then, as I mentioned, the buck has been set, and now it's up to Shade to try and equalize it. They have a hard defense on their hands now. They have a lot of work to do, trying to make sure that the payload does not manage to get around this final corner, but it's not looking too good for them at all. They have been able to find some spurts of brilliance throughout the series, but will it be enough to get a consecutive hold for 4 minutes? They can only really concede a half a fight, maybe one of them being generous, so a lot of pressure on their shoulders now, and if not, then they're out of playoffs.
Yeah, and we'll see if they can do so. I mean, an interesting choice to come in with Junker Queen into an Orisa composition, because, I mean, what's Orisa known for? The gold. I mean, that's really just kind of denies your entire Jagged Blade there. I mean, if you can get the damage with that primary fire, that would be huge, but again, it is just going to be a difficult task either way. You need to play almost perfect here, and I mean, Junker Queen can allow pop-up moments, so maybe it can work.
Only time will, in fact, tell, though, and right now they're going for an aggressive hold. They need to milk as much time as possible, and this is kind of the way to do it. Pile on broken early, though, not where you want to start.
Yeah, no, definitely not, and you need to take as much space away from Westmont as you can. Moose did get caught out there by the Jagged Blade, but, well, it's not going to matter in the end because Tony Zamboni's already found Smiles out of the fight, and that might just be it there. Tetron, as all the picks coming through, going away is the rest of Shade Central, as that is going to be the map and the series going to Westmont.
Yeah, I mean, they took it pretty quick. They showed they had the ability to win consistent fights and quickly too on their defense and on their attack. Oh, it takes only the first one to close out the series there. Fantastic to play from all of them, but yeah, the standout has to be, I think, Esports, who are doing a great job just haranguing from pretty much every which off angle. And most of Shade, most of them just constantly looking at him, but never able to shut the Soldier 76 down. So a great start to playoffs from Westman, and Shade, unfortunately, do get eliminated here.
Yeah, definitely. It's unfortunate, but this is where Shade's story ends for Division 2. They still have a Division 1 team going in. Then I believe we will be casting them right after a short little break, so you're not going to want to miss more Overwatch right after this. All right, everyone. So we have some unfortunate news with all the scheduling mishaps that we've had today. So Connellsville has to reschedule this matchup today to get everything done in a timely fashion, because we don't really want to have forfeits in playoffs, because that's just kind of that's kind of an L. So we're going to be ending stream here for today. We'll get this Connellsville game versus Shade game done whenever we can, hopefully. So make sure to follow the channel, if you want to watch some more Rocket League and Valorant later on. Next week, I believe there's middle school Rocket League tomorrow. So drop a follow on the Twitch channel to stay informed. But that's going to be it for us today. Thank you all for watching, and peace out. And wherever you are in the world, have a wonderful rest of your day.